William Carter looked out the viewport as the human ship approached Nexus Prime. The space station gleamed like a jewel against the darkness. Its vast rings spun slowly, creating gravity for the many alien species inside. Carter straightened his blue diplomatic uniform and took a deep breath. "First time seeing it?" asked Natalie Wright. She stood beside him, her red hair pulled back neatly. As his chief advisor, she had studied all 12 alien races they would meet. "It's bigger than I expected," Carter said. He felt the weight of his mission. As Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Council, everything he did would shape humanity's future among the stars. Behind them, Dr. Gregory Martinez was checking data on his tablet. The xenobiologist had spent years studying the little information Earth had about alien biology. "The air should be breathable for us in the human sections," he said. "But the Malurians are gaseous beings. They'll stay in special chambers during meetings." Captain Samantha Jones joined them at the viewport. Her military uniform carried fewer decorations than she had earned. The council had requested that human military presence be minimized. "We're being scanned," Jones said quietly, "more intensely than mentioned in the protocols." Carter nodded but kept his face neutral. They had expected this. The powerful races of the Galactic Council viewed humans as newcomers, barely worth notice until Earth had achieved faster-than-light travel 10 years ago. The ship docked with a gentle bump. A soft tone indicated the pressure was equalizing. When the doors opened, they were met by 3 aliens. The tallest had 6 limbs and skin that shifted colors slightly as it moved. "Ambassador Carter," it said through a translation device. "I am Silvax, High Minister of the Council. These are representatives of the Vorzek and Malurian delegations." The Vorzek looked like a human-sized insect with crystal eyes that reflected light in rainbow patterns. The Malurian was harder to see, a faintly purple mist contained in a floating mechanical sphere. "Thank you for the welcome," Carter said. "May I present my team?" Diplomatic Advisor Wright, Dr. Martins, and Captain Jones. The Vorzek made a clicking sound that the translator didn't process. Its crystal eyes turned toward Jones, lingering on her uniform. "Please follow," said Silvax. "The Council has prepared quarters for your stay during negotiations." As they walked through the station, Carter noticed how other aliens stopped to watch them pass. Some showed obvious curiosity, others something closer to disgust. Humans were new here, and he could feel their outsider status with every step. Their rooms were comfortable but plain. As soon as the door closed behind their guides, Jones pulled out a small device and swept for surveillance. She found 3 listening devices and 2 visual monitors. "Leave them," Carter said quietly. "We expected this." Martinez connected his tablet to a secure Earth communication system. "I've been monitoring their network traffic since we arrived," he whispered. "There's significantly more communication than normal for arrival protocols." Natalie began unpacking diplomatic materials. "Initial meeting is in 3 hours. The schedule they sent shows they've allocated most speaking time to the Valkyrie Federation and the Jizak Commerce Guild. The 2 most aggressive expansionist groups," Carter noted. "Interesting." Later, while preparing for the first meeting, Martinez pulled Carter aside. His face was serious as he showed him intercepted data streams. "Sir, I've translated some of their secure communications," he said. "They're not negotiating with us in good faith. Look at these resource allocation plans for our solar system. They've already divided Earth's resources among themselves." Carter studied the data, his face growing hard. "So this isn't a negotiation. It's a formality before they tell us how they plan to control us." "It seems that way," Martinez agreed. "Then we'll listen carefully," Carter said, "and learn everything we can before we decide our next move." He straightened his uniform again. Humanity didn't come this far to become anyone's colony. The council chamber was a vast ring with seats rising in tiered circles. Carter and his team were given places at the lowest level, a clear message about their status. Above them sat representatives from 12 advanced civilizations, many of which had been traveling between stars when humans were still learning to make fire. Ambassador Klozoth of the Valkyrie Federation stood to speak. His scaled skin was dark blue, and the metal implants along his neck glinted under the lights. The Valkyrie were known for their military power and territorial ambitions. "We welcome our human guests," Klozoth said, his voice deep through the translation system. "As they join the galactic community, we must provide guidance. For their protection and galactic stability, we propose limiting human expansion beyond Mars for the next century." Carter kept his face neutral as he listened. The Valkyrie proposal included ecological oversight of Earth's resources and technological safeguards that would effectively prevent humans from developing better ships or weapons. When it was his turn to speak, Carter asked careful questions. He avoided showing anger at the unfair terms. Instead, he gathered information and watched how different aliens reacted. Some seemed uncomfortable with how the humans were being treated. Others showed no emotion at all. During a break, Natalie Wright was getting water when someone approached her. The alien was slender with pale skin that seemed to glow slightly. 4 large eyes blinked independently on its face. "I am Echelon of the Nolan," the alien said quietly. "May we speak privately?" Natalie glanced around before nodding. They moved to a quiet corner. "Your species is in danger," Echelon said. "The Council fears you, not for what you are, but for what you might become." "Fears us? We barely have interstellar technology," Natalie said. "That is precisely why. Your development rate is unprecedented." Echelon's eyes blinked in sequence. The Valkyrie took 4,000 years to progress from simple machines to space travel. The Zizak took 6,000. Humans did it in less than 500. Natalie absorbed this information carefully. "Why are you telling me this?" "Not all of us agree with the Council's approach. Some believe diversity strengthens us all." Echelon pressed a small crystal into Natalie's hand. "Data about Council species, classifications, weaknesses. Your people should know what they face." Meanwhile, Captain Jones was conducting her own investigation. Using skills from her military intelligence background, she accessed maintenance tunnels throughout the station. There, she placed small devices that could monitor Council communications and movement patterns. In one service corridor, she nearly ran into a Vorzek technician. The insectoid alien clicked its mandibles in surprise, but did not report her. Jones realized not all aliens followed the Council's official position. Dr. Martinez spent his time in the Diplomatic Wings Research Center. As the only human with permission to access the Council's biological database, he searched for information about how Council species viewed humans. What he found disturbed him deeply. "They'd classified us as a containment species," Martinez told Carter when the team gathered in their quarters that evening. They spoke quietly, aware of the surveillance. "That's their designation for species deemed too unpredictable or dangerous for full galactic integration." Natalie connected the crystal Echelon had given her to their secure system. "This confirms it. The Council has been observing Earth for centuries. They stayed hidden because their protocols require non-interference until a species achieves FTL travel." Carter looked through the data. "They expected us to take another 1,000 years to reach that point. Our faster development timeline threw off their plans." "The military positioning makes sense now," Jones added. "The Valkyrie already have ships stationed throughout our solar system. They're prepared to enforce these limitations if we don't agree." Carter stared out the viewport at the stars. Among them was Sol, too distant to see from here. "So we play along," he said finally. "We act cooperative while we gather more information. If they expect humans to be predictable, we'll show them just how wrong they are." 2 weeks passed. Carter and his team attended daily meetings where the Council species discussed Earth's future as if humans had no say in it. Each night, they analyzed the information Jones and Martinez gathered. The picture became clearer and more troubling. Carter decided it was time. The team prepared through the night, organizing their evidence. When they entered the Council chamber the next morning, The aliens noticed the change in their behavior. "Ambassador Carter, you seem troubled," said Silvax from his raised seat. The High Minister's skin shifted to a darker shade, showing concern or perhaps suspicion. "I am troubled," Carter replied, his voice firm. "For 2 weeks, we've listened to proposals about Earth's future. Today, I would like to present some information of our own." Without waiting for permission, Carter activated the central display system. The huge screen filled with images that Captain Jones had collected. Valkyrie warships positioned near Jupiter, Zizak mining operations already set up on distant asteroids in Earth's solar system, and maps dividing Earth's oceans and continents into resource zones. The chamber erupted in noise. Some aliens shouted, others made clicking or whistling sounds. A few rose from their seats. "This is a violation of protocol." The Vorzik representative's translator could barely keep up with its rapid clicks. Carter spoke over the noise. "Is protocol more important than truth? These ships moved into position before talks even began. You never intended fair negotiations." Zilvax raised his 4 upper limbs, calling for order. When the chamber quieted, he looked down at Carter with large eyes that now pulsed with light. "Ambassador, you misunderstand. These are standard procedures for integrating new species. Young civilizations must be guided." Carter displayed another set of images. Secret treaties between council races, already signed, dividing Earth's resources. "Guided or controlled?" Carter asked. "These documents show you've already decided Earth's fate. Humans are to be limited to our own planet, our resources taken, our development stunted." A low murmur spread through the chamber. Some council members looked uncomfortable. Carter noticed Echelon watching with all 4 eyes wide open. Zilvax's skin turned a deep purple. These documents were meant to be revealed gradually, as humanity proved ready. "The galaxy is complex, dangerous. Young species cannot be allowed to develop without oversight." "What you mean," Carter said clearly, "is that humans develop too quickly for your comfort. We don't spend thousands of years on decisions like the Council does. We adapt, we change, we evolve. And that frightens you." The Valkyrie ambassador, Kluzov, stood up. "Enough of this. The human speaks as if they have a choice. Let us be direct. Earth will accept Council guidance or face consequences. Your planet's defenses are no match for even a single Valkyrie battle group." Carter looked around the chamber. Some aliens seemed embarrassed by Kluzov's words. Others nodded in agreement. The true face of the Council was now visible. "I understand," Carter said quietly. Then he reached up and removed his translation device. He placed it carefully on the central table. Looking at his team, he spoke in English. "We're leaving. Now." The human delegation stood as one. Without another word, they turned their backs on the Council and walked toward the exit. No species had ever walked out of Council negotiations in its 7,000-year history. Behind them, confusion spread. Zilvax called for them to stop. The Valkyrie threatened. The Malurian representative changed colors rapidly in distress. But the humans kept walking, their steps sure and united. As the doors closed behind them, the last thing they heard was the chamber descending into chaos. On their ship, as they prepared for emergency departure, Natalie looked at Carter. "What now?" "Now we prepare," Carter said. They thought humans were predictable. They're about to learn how wrong they were. News of the humans' departure spread faster than their ship could travel. The Council's communication network buzzed with messages between worlds. Many species had never heard of humans before. Now, everyone was talking about them. The Valkyrie called for immediate action. Their war council prepared battle plans to contain the human problem. The Zizak trading guilds calculated how to profit from possible conflict. The ancient Illuvian, who rarely spoke in council meetings, warned that hasty action was unwise. Carter's ship approached Earth after 5 days of travel. Through secure channels, they had already sent warnings about the likely council response. When they landed in Washington, D.C., a mix of reactions awaited them. "You've doomed us all," shouted Senator Richard Powell at the emergency meeting. His face was red with anger. "How dare you walk out on the most powerful beings in the galaxy?" "Senator, they never intended fair talks," Carter explained calmly. "They planned to take our resources and limit our growth from the beginning." President Daniel Harris listened quietly before speaking. "Ambassador Carter, while I understand your reasons, I must ask, what options do we have now?" "The reports suggest their military technology far exceeds ours." Before Carter could answer, the door opened. A woman with short gray hair and sharp eyes entered. "That's not entirely true, Mr. President." "Dr. Laura Evans," the president said with surprise. "I didn't expect the head of advanced technologies to join us." Dr. Evans placed a tablet on the table. It showed images of a new space station in Earth orbit that few people knew existed. "While the diplomatic team was away, we've been busy," she said. "The alien ship that crashed in Nevada 3 years ago provided more than we revealed publicly. We've successfully reverse-engineered several key technologies." She swiped to show more images. "Most importantly, we have working shield technology. It's not as advanced as the Council races have, but it can protect our major cities from orbital attacks." The room fell silent as everyone processed this information. Carter exchanged looks with his team. "There's more," Dr. Evans continued. "We activated Project Firewall last week when we received Carter's first warnings. Our research teams on Mars, Europa, and Titan have hidden backups of all our technological knowledge. Even if Earth is attacked, our progress will continue." President Harris stood up. "So we have options beyond surrender." "Yes, sir," Captain Jones said. "And I believe we need to show strength. The Council expects us to panic or beg for forgiveness. We should do neither." Over the next 3 days, Earth prepared. Military forces went on high alert. The public received carefully worded announcements about diplomatic challenges with alien civilizations. Some people panicked, buying supplies and hiding in their homes. Others held demonstrations supporting Earth's independence. On social media, jokes and memes about standing up to aliens spread widely. One popular image showed a small human flipping off much larger alien creatures with the caption, "Earth's official response to the Galactic Council." On the 4th day after their return, Earth's long-range sensors detected a small ship approaching. It wasn't a Valkyrie warship as they had feared. Instead, it was a Nolan vessel. "They're requesting permission to land," explained the officer at the Defense Control Center. "They say they have Echelon on board, seeking asylum." Carter was called to meet the ship when it landed in a secure facility in Nevada. Echelon emerged, looking nervous. 2 other Nolans followed. "Ambassador Carter," Echelon said, "the Council is in chaos. Nothing like this has happened in thousands of years. Some races demand war. Others question the Council's leadership for the first time." "Why are you here?" Carter asked. "To help," Echelon replied. "And to warn you. The Valkyrie have dispatched a battle group to your system. But more importantly, I bring data about Council species weaknesses and technologies that might help Earth defend itself." Carter nodded. "Then we have work to do. The Council thought humans would be easily controlled. It's time to show them who they're really dealing with." The Galactic Council had never faced such disorder in its 7,000 years of existence. In the Grand Chamber where Carter's team had walked out days before, representatives now shouted and argued with each other. Arbitrator Silvac struggled to maintain control. His skin had turned a sickly yellow color from stress as he called for order. "The humans have clearly misunderstood our intentions," he insisted. "We must send a delegation to explain." "Explain what?" interrupted Shireen, an elder Nolan with skin that glowed more brightly than others of her kind. "That we plan to take their resources while pretending to welcome them. The recordings of our closed sessions have spread across all networks. Many worlds now question our honesty." On large screens around the chamber, images played on repeat, the human delegation confidently walking out of the Council chamber. The video had spread to every corner of the galaxy. Council analysts called it a respect shift, as many younger species watched with growing interest. "The Nolan are too soft," said War Commander Drazur of the Valkyrie. He stood tall, his blue scales gleaming under the lights. "I have dispatched a battle group to the human system. They will learn what happens when primitives disrespect the Council." This announcement caused more shouting. The ancient Eluvian representative, a being made of shifting crystal formations, spoke in its slow, melodic voice. "In 7,000 years, the Council has never needed to use force against a new species. Is this truly how we wish to proceed?" In a separate chamber, intelligence officers from multiple species met urgently. They shared reports about Earth, trying to understand why humans would risk defiance. "Their technology is primitive," said a Jizak analyst, her 4 arms moving quickly over data screens. "Their fastest ships are barely capable of interstellar travel. Their weapons are simple. Why would they challenge us unless they have hidden capabilities," finished a Vorzek intelligence officer, "or secret allies we don't know about." Back on Earth, humanity was preparing in ways the Council never expected. Rather than gathering their forces around the home planet as the Council anticipated, they scattered. Dozens of ships, including the newly finished U.S. Defiance, vanished from monitored space using experimental stealth technology. The ship's commander, Admiral Lisa Rodriguez, had orders to hide in the outer solar system and observe the Valkyrie battle group when it arrived. "We can't beat them in direct combat," she told her crew, "but we can be smarter than they expect." On Earth, Dr. Martins worked with Echelon and the other Nolan defectors. They analyzed Council technology and biology, finding surprising information. Most Council species evolve much more slowly than humans, Martins explained to President Harris. "Their bodies and cultures take thousands of years to adapt to new conditions. Humans can change in a single generation." Natalie Wright led a different kind of preparation. Working with Earth's communication experts, she created messages to be sent to non-Council worlds. "The Council has enemies and rivals," she explained. "We need allies, and there are plenty of species who resent Council control." Carter himself worked on the most critical plan. In a secure underground facility, he met with the leaders of Earth's colonies on Mars, Europa, and Titan. Their faces appeared on screens around the room. "Protocol Scattered Seeds begins today," he told them. "Each colony must prepare to operate independently if Earth is attacked, and each of you will send diplomatic missions to different non-Council worlds." The Mars colony governor looked worried. "The Valkyrie ships will be here in days. Can we be ready?" Carter smiled. "The Council species take centuries to make decisions. They expect us to be the same, but humans work best under pressure. We'll be ready." In deep space, War Commander Drazur's battle group approached the solar system. 15 warships, each carrying enough firepower to level a city. Drazur felt confident. How could primitive humans possibly stand against the might of the Valkyrie Federation? He had no idea what was waiting for him. The Valkyrie battle group entered the solar system near the orbit of Neptune. War Commander Drazur stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking at the display of the human home system. 15 powerful warships moved in perfect formation behind him. "Scan for human defenses," Drazur ordered. His officers worked quickly at their stations. "Commander, we detect simple satellites and a few armed space stations," reported his second-in-command. "Nothing that could threaten our ships." Drazur smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "As expected, set course for their home world. We will show these humans the price of disrespect." Unknown to the Valkyrie, their entry had been detected. Hidden among the moons of Neptune, the U.S. Defiance watched silently. Admiral Rodriguez studied the enemy ships carefully. "Record everything," she told her crew. "Their shield frequencies, weapon systems, engine signatures. We need to understand exactly what we're facing." The information streamed back to Earth through hidden communication relays. In the Defense Command Center, military leaders watched the Valkyrie approach. "They're following the exact path we predicted," said General Frank Wilson. "Arrogant. They're not even trying to hide their approach." President Harris looked at the display with a grim face. "Are our defenses ready?" "Yes, sir," replied Dr. Evans. "Shield generators are active over major cities. Our new weapon platforms are in position, but powered down to avoid detection." The president turned to Carter. "This is our one chance to show them we're not helpless. If we fail—" "We won't fail," Carter said firmly. "Humans have always been at our best when facing impossible odds." In space, Drazer's fleet moved past Mars. They barely noticed the human colony there, considering it too small to be a threat. This was another mistake. As soon as the Valkyrie passed, the Mars colony activated special equipment provided by Echelon and the other Nolan defectors. "Signal sent," reported the Mars colony governor over the secure line. "Their long-range communications are now experiencing interference. They won't be able to call for reinforcements easily." As the Valkyrie approached Earth, they began to detect more human defenses than their intelligence had suggested. "Commander, there are satellites with weapon signatures," reported a Valkyrie officer with surprise, "and energy readings consistent with shield technology." Drazer frowned. "Impossible. The Council reports indicated humans had no such technology." He studied the readings himself. "No matter. Even primitive shields cannot withstand our weapons. Prepare to fire warning shots at their largest city. Show them our power." The lead Valkyrie ship charged its main weapons. On Earth, people watched the skies with fear and determination. In cities around the world, blue energy fields became visible as shield systems activated fully. What happened next shocked the Valkyrie commander. As his ships prepared to fire, 3 small human vessels suddenly appeared behind his fleet. They had been hiding using stealth technology the Valkyrie didn't know humans possessed. Admiral Rodriguez opened a communication channel from the U.S. Defiance. "Valkyrie vessels, this is Earth Defense Force. Your ships have entered restricted space without permission. Power down your weapons immediately." Drazer laughed when he received the message. 3 small ships against my battle group. The humans are braver than they are wise." He ordered his rear ships to deal with this nuisance while the main fleet continued toward Earth. But as the Valkyrie ships turned to engage, the human vessels disappeared again. "Where did they go?" Drazer demanded. The answer came moments later when small explosions erupted across his fleet. The human ships were conducting hit-and-run attacks, targeting sensors and communication systems rather than weapons. Drazer grew angry. "Enough games. All ships proceed to Earth orbit. We will show these humans what real power looks like." As the Valkyrie fleet approached Earth, blue shields glowed over major cities. But to Drazer's surprise, Earth's orbital defenses seemed to fall back easily. "They're retreating," he said with satisfaction. "They recognize our superiority." His tactical officer looked concerned. "Sir, this seems too easy." Drazer ignored the warning. "Prepare main weapons. Target their government center first." He didn't realize he was flying into a trap. As the Valkyrie fleet moved toward Earth, Admiral Rodriguez watched from the U.S. Defiance. Her ship and 2 others had damaged the alien sensors and communications, but the main fleet was still approaching Earth. "Execute Hornet's Nest," she ordered. Her message went to hidden defense platforms scattered around Earth's orbit. These platforms had remained powered down until now, invisible to Valkyrie scans. Suddenly, they activated, revealing dozens of weapon systems that the Valkyrie hadn't detected. On his flagship, War Commander Drazer noticed new energy signatures appearing all around his fleet. "What are those?" he demanded. "Weapon platforms, sir," his officer replied with shock. "They were hidden. Our sensors didn't detect them." "Impossible." Drazer hissed. "Human technology cannot hide from our scanners." But the evidence was clear on his displays. Somehow, the humans had developed stealth technology good enough to fool Valkyrie sensors. The defense platforms opened fire, not with simple projectiles, but with energy weapons similar to the Valkyrie's own. Return fire. Drazzer ordered. Destroy those platforms. The space around Earth lit up with energy beams and explosions. The Valkyrie ships were powerful, but they were surrounded and taking damage from all sides. 3 of the smaller ships already showed damage to their engines. In the Earth Defense Command Center, General Wilson watched the battle with President Harris and Ambassador Carter. "The platforms are working better than expected," Wilson said, "but they won't stop the Valkyrie for long." "They don't need to," Carter replied. "They just need to make Drazzer angry enough to make a mistake." In space, Drazzer was indeed growing furious. His perfect battle formation was broken as ships turned to fight off attacks from multiple directions. Still, the Valkyrie had more firepower. They began destroying the human platforms one by one. "There," Drazzer said with satisfaction. "Their defenses are failing. Press forward to Earth." His ships pushed through the defensive line. Several Valkyrie vessels were damaged, but the main fleet was still combat-ready. They approached Earth, where the blue shields glowed over cities. "Target their largest population centers," Drazzer commanded. "Show them the price of defiance." The Valkyrie flagship charged its main weapon, a Devastator missile capable of punching through planetary shields. The humans detected this and seemed to panic. Their remaining orbital defenses focused fire on other ships, leaving the flagship relatively free to prepare its attack. "They don't even know which ship to target," Drazzer laughed. "Devastator missile ready in 30 seconds. His tactical officer looked concerned. "Sir, the human ships we encountered earlier have disappeared from our sensors again." "It doesn't matter," Drazzer said. "No small ship can stop a Devastator missile. 15 seconds to launch." Suddenly, alarms blared across the flagship. 3 human ships appeared directly above them, impossibly close. They had somehow jumped through space without using normal engines. "Impossible," Drazzer shouted. "No one can make precision jumps that close to another ship." On the U.S. Defiance, Admiral Rodriguez opened a communication channel. "Valkyrie flagship, this is Admiral Rodriguez. We have targeted your missile launchers and power core. Power down your weapons immediately." Drazzer was shocked. The human ships were positioned perfectly to disable this flagship before the Devastator missile could launch. No species he knew could make such precise, faster-than-light jumps. Council tactical experts had deemed it technically impossible. "How did you do this?" he demanded. "You made 2 mistakes," Rodriguez replied calmly. "First, you believed your intelligence about our capabilities. Second, you thought humans would follow predictable tactics." Around the Valkyrie fleet, more human ships appeared, each positioning themselves near critical systems on the alien vessels. "Last warning," Rodriguez said. "Power down, or we open fire. Your choice." For the first time in his military career, War Commander Drazzer felt real doubt. He looked at his tactical display. His ships were surrounded, his sensors had been fooled multiple times, and humans had demonstrated technology that should be beyond their capabilities. "Stand down," he ordered finally. "All ships, power down weapons." As the Valkyrie weapons went offline, he added quietly to his second-in-command, "The Council has severely underestimated these humans." 3 months after the Valkyrie retreat, Ambassador Carter returned to Nexus Prime Space Station. This time, he was not alone. Representatives from Earth stood beside him, along with delegates from 7 non-Council species who had formed a new alliance called the Interstellar Cooperative. The Council chamber fell silent as Carter entered. Many seats were empty. After the failed attack on Earth, several species had withdrawn from Council sessions in protest. Videos of the Valkyrie defeat had spread across the galaxy, showing that the mighty Council was not invincible. Arbitrator Xilvax looked worn, his skin a dull gray. He had barely survived a leadership challenge after the Valkyrie disaster. Now he faced Carter across the chamber floor. "Ambassador Carter," he said formally, "the Council recognizes Earth and welcomes your return." Carter nodded. I return not just for Earth, but as representative of the Interstellar Cooperative. We have proposals for council reform. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Behind Carter stood the Nolan delegation led by Shireen. Next to them were representatives from the Corvalans, masters of engineering who had quickly formed trade agreements with Earth. 5 other species completed the group, all former council members or independents who had grown tired of council control. Reform. Silvax asked. The council has maintained galactic peace for 7,000 years. Peace through control is not true peace, Carter replied. The council has suppressed development and diversity in the name of stability. We propose a new approach. Over the next hours, Carter presented the cooperative's ideas: free technology exchange, fair resource agreements, and respect for cultural and evolutionary differences. Most importantly, an end to the classification and containment of developing species. Some council members objected strongly. The Vorzik representative clicked angrily about human arrogance. The Jizak complained about threats to established trade routes. Then Carter revealed humanity's most powerful weapon: information. During our brief time at the initial talks, we planted data-gathering systems throughout Nexus Prime, he explained. We have records of every private council session for the past 3 months, including plans to manipulate and control dozens of younger species. Shock rippled through the chamber. Even Silvax seemed stunned. You spied on the council? He asked. We gathered information to protect ourselves, Carter corrected. And now we will share it with everyone. With a simple command, the human delegation released all the data to the galactic network. Every secret deal, every plan to limit other species' development, every resource theft disguised as guidance became public knowledge. You have destroyed 7,000 years of stability, Silvax said quietly. No, Carter replied. We've created an opportunity for growth. The galaxy has been frozen in place for too long. Evolution, biological, technological, and social, cannot be controlled forever. In the weeks that followed, the galactic landscape transformed. Some council species refused to deal with humans or the new cooperative. Others cautiously opened diplomatic channels. 3 council members formally joined the cooperative, attracted by its principles of free exchange and mutual respect. 6 months after the human withdrawal from talks, Carter stood with his team on the observation deck of humanity's first major off-world colony on Proxima Centauri. The unfamiliar stars shone overhead as they watched the construction of a spaceport that would welcome ships from across the galaxy. They thought our unpredictability was dangerous, Natalie Wright said, watching alien and human engineers working side by side. They never imagined it might save them from their own stagnation. Carter nodded. The Valkyrie fleet commander asked me yesterday why humans develop so quickly compared to other species. I told him it's because we dream of what could be instead of fearing what might change. Dr. Martinez pointed to a group of young Nolan learning alongside human children. That's the real victory. Not defeating their ships, but creating something new together. Captain Jones, recently promoted to Admiral, smiled. So what's next, Ambassador? Carter looked up at the stars, knowing that behind each one lay worlds waiting to be discovered. Next, he said, we explore, not as conquerors or as servants, but as equals in a galaxy bigger and more wonderful than any species could discover alone.